I figured I'd come
Thank you.
support you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And, please add any little tidbit that I forget to add or something. Because, this is really new to me. I just learned about this like a month ago.
I've been doing it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I've created 147 lessons in Quizizz.
How do you know that number?
Because Quizizz talks to me. They gave me a free upgrade for a year because I created so much content.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you say they talk to you, does some person actually call you and say?
Yeah, they emailed me.
Wow.
Because I guess some of my content's very popular this year.
Oh, wow. That's terrific. That's fantastic.
They're looking for people to pay to create content. So that's why.
Oh, really?
And I was like, okay.
Well, why don't they pay me to create their content? I have created quite a bit. Over the last month. Not 147, but stuff that's been helpful for me, useful,
Yeah.
Are they paying you?
Not right now, but I got the free upgrade for now. And then I'm working on the other stuff to create content.
Huh. Wow.
But that's exciting.
Yeah.
And they just added the organization thing. So St. Charles it's not expensive compared to Nearpod. If they get an account, we can all share within the county our content.
Oh, that's really nice.
And so, yeah, they have a school-wide thing.
Oh, okay. So you know what I'm talking about though with forms. How
there's a setting that you can make it so they can't see the answers. I would change the setting so they couldn't see it until after a certain date. Yes,
but see, I want them to not to see what they got wrong so they can redo it. I want them to see right away which ones they got wrong, Hi, Pam. Hello, Christine.
Hello, I need to run and get paper. I'm not leaving.
You do whatever. This is totally optional. You do what you need to do.
Well, no, I've been wanting to use this.
Oh, okay.
And I've been very hesitant. Like, is it,
okay.
So anything I want to.
Yeah, when something's new, it's like, I have to figure this out. Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my paper's somewhere.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a LinkedIn. What's yours, D. Weiss?
Yeah.
Do you guys have gas? I am low.
Man, I've been farting all morning.
Or here, I can give it to you in the chat.
No, it was a problem. Last night, there were lines that were so long, I couldn't take it. So I got up at 5 o'clock this morning to go get gas, and I paid $3.98 a gallon.
No.
Yeah.
I don't have any, and I meant to do what you did, and I forgot.
Yeah. Well, so just go, it's
we found some last night.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going as soon as we're done, and I'll see. If not, Tara Sewell lives close to me.
Yeah, right.
She'll have to do all the commuting for the next couple days.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Megan.
That's one of my algebra collections, the polynomial unit. But you can see how I did different kinds of lessons.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we'd have some of your jokes this morning, Dan. Yes, no problem.
What do you call a fish without an eye?
No idea. What do you, oh,
So did you actually make it to the geometry meeting this morning?
I did.
Okay.
Hey, Jenna. He asked me if I made it to the geometry meeting this morning. He didn't. Okay. Okay, I did not create that joke, no.
love her.
Hey, thank you. Me too.
But Dan, using this section for the polynomials, they learned
Yeah.
it so well. And when I
You-
gave
you
the
learned-
test,
you-
it was like, boom,
You
they
said
knew
you
it.
learned Quizizz by creating this. Is that what you're
Oh,
saying?
no, the students learned the topic so
Oh,
well.
really?
Like,
Oh, that's
I
good.
did not have this success last year using this that I made. They were like, boom, 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 and they could do it so fast.
Okay. Hi, Celeste. Hi, Ellen.
That's the goal, right? We want them
Yeah,
to
it is.
learn.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. We're gonna give people a few minutes to get their coffee and go to the bathroom from the first meeting if they went.
Yeah. And I like how when you do it with this open-ended where they have to type in the answer, you can see as they put them in what they're putting, what they're submitting, and give them that instant feedback.
Okay, time out. So this is something I don't think I knew. You
Okay.
can, you're telling me like in real time, I can actually see what they're putting in?
Uh-huh.
That must be a new
I did not
added.
know. Did you know that, Brad? I didn't know that. Did you know that,
I
Brad?
didn't know that. Is that for like the actual homework assignment portion, or is that for the teacher-led instruction?
So if you're doing it live, as they're putting in their answers, you can go to answer view instead of participant view and see what they're submitting. And so even before you end the question, you can be like, you've got it, you know, Sam, you didn't get it. Can you try again? I think what you did is this, and help guide them
Hello,
to
Colette.
where they might have gone wrong. Because usually by the answer, you can tell what they did wrong.
Wow.
So if they typed in something and they
Yeah.
forgot a negative, you could be like, hey, can you check your work and look carefully at your negatives?
That's good.
Mhm.
Especially when kids are just, you know, especially in this environment, when kids are like sitting at home and like, now you can see if they're actually physically doing anything or not.
Yeah. And then so then at the end of the live lesson, I give them a participation score, not an accuracy score when it's a lesson, because I'm expecting them to get some of them wrong. But then if I give a quiz on Quizizz, it's student paced and they get their actual grade.
Okay.
But it tracks both participation and accuracy.
Wow.
I thought somebody told me that we weren't allowed to give participation scores.
Well, it doesn't affect their grade. I just put it in for their parents to see
Oh,
as not
okay.
for grading. I put
See,
the lesson and and I make it the category not for grading, and I put in their participation every day. Then their parents, I can easily say, oh, well, you participate about 30% of the time. So that makes sense that your grade would be about a 30.
Great idea.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that next year.
I've always given a participation grade,
I don't think there's a
For
problem.
a
with that.
grade.
I never heard anything about,
not giving one.
yeah.
Isn't it
Okay.
called a process grade?
Yes, it's for 1 point though, not a lot, but
Yeah.
they do
Oh,
have
yeah,
to show
yeah.
that they did something.
That would help a lot for my kids because sometimes they work so hard and they're so off,
Yeah.
and that would motivate them.
Yeah. I don't see any problem with that kind of a grade.
Cool. I used to do that, but that was on their paper, so it didn't
Yeah.
matter.
Hey, did everybody get gas yesterday?
I got it this morning at 5 a.m. Hi, Gina.
What's all about the gas? I got gas yesterday. Why?
Okay, so there was some kind of big Russian hack at the major pipeline, which has
Disrupted gas.
disrupted gas. And like here, I live in Virginia, and I'm in Springfield, Virginia, and I'm telling you, the lines to get gas last night were wrapped around the block.
And your
I-
guys' gas prices are through the roof.
I
like,
paid $3.98
It's about
this morning.
20 to 25 cents higher than it is here. I was
Yeah.
just in Virginia last weekend.
Yeah, I paid $3.98 just this morning, but I just, you know,
Oh,
I didn't want to
wow.
screw around. You know, I was willing to pay whatever because I wanted to make sure I got to school tomorrow and worry about everything else after that. So,
So it was $3.98?
well, that's because first of all, I went to the closest gas station, which is
Yeah.
the most expensive one. So there you could still get it for, you know,
And a
under
lot of
$3.
places in Waldorf only have premium at this point.
Yeah.
At 301 and Port Tobacco Road, I think it's I forgot what it's like a Mobil or Exxon or Dashin or something. They are out of the mid-grade, but they still have premium and unleaded for now. So
I learned in my
That
science
doesn't make
class,
sense because mid-grade is literally premium and the low one mixed together.
Or
So that you can't be out of the middle one.
that would be
Okay.
better.
I know that's just what they had at the gas station. I don't even remember what the categories were, but it was just the middle one that they had. I don't get it, but that's what they were out of.
All right, I'm gonna start by showing what drives me nuts about forms. All right, and I didn't even know this until the third quarter. In forms, when you go up here in settings, if I click this button right here, show results automatically. This is what I want. This is what I did all year because I want my students to be able to redo an assignment that they mess up on, or if they, if they got a 19 out of 20, they want to go for the 20 out of 20. Good for them. Go for it. And you can see which problems you got wrong. The problem with this is that if you did not know this, it gives you the correct answers. So here I am all year long not knowing this and giving my students the answers. So they are going and opening up the form, just going all the way to the bottom, hitting submit. They get the 0, but then all the answers pop up. So they redo it, plug in all the answers, and they get 100. And I'm like, oh my God, this is why they're going from 0 to 100. So I think it was Ms. Bazell that recommended Quizizz. So I checked it out, and I'm completely sold. I am now passionate about Quizizz. It is, and I'm only at it for like a month now. But Megan here and Brad, well, Megan's been at it for 2 years. She's created 147 quizzes.
Wow.
And right. And Brad's been at it a while as well. And he's gonna go ahead and take over at this point. And I'm gonna add in things as I've learned since he and I created this presentation. There are some little tidbits that I've figured out that I will add in along the way. So Brad, take it away.
All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick. We'll bring up Quizizz. So again, it's really simple. Quizizz is actually free for teachers, and they do have some plans for everybody. But if you want to sign up, you can go ahead. It's really easy to sign up. Pretty much it looks something like this. You just can continue with either a Google account, Microsoft account, or you can sign up with any email you choose. And the sign up process is really, really simple. So I'm going to go ahead and log in real quick. Let's see. So again, you could use your school email, piece of cake, or you can use your work email. I actually don't remember if I use my Gmail, so I'm going to double check it. Let's see. Oh, invalid password. Let me try that again. I think I may have used my other account, so let me double check this.
American.
'Cause I was actually logged in before, and then I decided to log out, and then this happened. All right.
You left out the dot in .com.
You're good, Dan.
Thank you.
Did he misspell his password?
That.
All right, so this is why people don't log out or log in and out of stuff. So, all right,
Right.
so it's really easy. There are a lot of things you can do with Quizizz. Really easy. You can go to create, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do with it. So you can either do a full-blown lesson, or you can do a quiz. We're just going to go over the quiz portion for today. It's going to be really easy, really simple. So you hit quiz. And what it does is, so you can jump into quiz, you can name it whatever you'd like. For instance, let's just call this PD number 1 quiz. And so you can choose any of the relevant subjects that are here or even more. And of course, when you click on more, it brings a heck of a lot. When you jump to mathematics and hit next, then you can easily bring up what's going to be popping up. Now, just like in forms, you can either do multiple choice, or you can do open-ended, fill in the blank, or you can actually do others as well. So we're just going to kind of stick with the multiple choice. You can either search for questions, or you can create your own questions. So I'm just going to do multiple choice. And then with multiple choice, you can type in your question here. I'm just going to create a random question. Who played Iron Man in the Avengers? We'll just go with that. You can do Brad Pitt for one answer. You can do George Clooney. You can do Robert Downey Jr. And then from there, you can do
Dan Weiss.
Dan Weiss. Yeah, there we go. So there you go. So we got these people. And again, you want to select the correct answer. So there you go. Kind of very similar to forms. All right. So again, we'll go here. And of course, you can select more than one answer if need be, but we're just going to kind of stick with one answer for now. If you want to, you can also put a fun fact down here, but there is a little bit of a conundrum with that, and it has to deal with this. We'll talk about this very soon. But again, this is what it's going to look like on students' phones or screens when they're playing. So they have your 4 answer choices, all color coded. Very easy, very, very simple. And then what you do is you go down to this button here. And
Change
you
the
can hit
timer
save.
too. If you
Yeah,
want.
exactly. So the next thing is you can actually choose how long you want to set your question to give the student. So if you want to give your student 30 seconds to answer, you can. If you want to give them 5 minutes or even 5 seconds. Again, this could give the students a rough estimate of how long they should be taking, especially when it's a question of classify these 2 angles or something along those lines. So I've always used it in my classes to kind of gauge with the students how long should you be taking with certain categories of questions. But of course, when we get to solving questions or solving equations, I always give them a little bit more time. There's also a feature that actually turns the timer off. So what I'll do is I'll just put 30 seconds here, and then I'm going to hit save.
By the way, I usually turn it off, and you can't turn it off until after you're done setting up your quiz.
Right. So there is actually a final listing of settings that will apply to the entire quizzes. And so once we actually finish and publish this, then what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to go ahead and take a look at the final settings, and we'll be able to apply shuffling to the questions, shuffling to the answer choices, and so forth. Now, again, the setup for this is actually very similar to forms. You can actually enter in a new question from down here. Again, it gives you the 6 categories. Dan and I were talking about, we just focus on using multiple choice and fill in the blanks. You can use checkbox. That's for like multiple answer choices if you'd like. You can do a poll, just like what forms and teams can do. You can also do an open-ended, and of course, you can also add slides as well. Let's just do a fill in the blank one, just to make it really easy. Who played Captain America in the Avengers? And of course, you can put your answer choice down here. Luckily, and this is kind of different than Microsoft Forms, when you put your answer choice in, you could say Chris Evans is our answer. And so you could say that it must be exactly that, or if somebody puts their last name, what you can do is in the alternative answers, you can actually say contains or equals a certain number. But again, as you can see, there's this little lightning bolt here. We'll talk about that near the end. So again, this actually is the final answer. They just have to type it in. And what Dan and I were able to find out is that it's not case sensitive like forms is. So let's say a student types it in and they type in a lowercase as opposed to a capital letter. They would actually get it wrong in forms. Here, you wouldn't actually get it wrong. You would still get it correct. In regards to the questions, you could also add a math equation. Luckily, in the past year to year and a half, you were actually able to add an image. Originally, it was a part of the upgraded plan, but they changed that over the last year and a half.
That's a huge feature for me, by the way. You being able to add an image, it is a game changer for me.
I tried to add an image about 2 years ago, and it said you need to upgrade to this plan. So luckily, that makes it so much better. You can add audio and everything. So again, we're gonna put in a timer. I'm just gonna say 60 seconds, and we're gonna hit save. All right, so we got these 2 questions here.
Can they go over the 60 seconds?
Yeah, sure. So if you, so what happens is once the timer actually goes down, and let's say you haven't put an answer in, then what happens is it's going to automatically move on to the next question. So you got up to 60 seconds, but then if you don't answer in that timeline, then all of a sudden you're going to be pushed forward. So it is another way of kind of moving students onward. So it will count it as wrong.
If you open 2 sections, you can make one with longer times, because I know with people with extended time. So you give one to everyone, and then if they have that extended time, you can give them a different code with the longer times.
Yeah,
Can they
and
go
we'll
back
get into the code. Yep.
Can they go back to the question if it has moved on?
Oh, so and we're gonna actually do this on one of the quizzes we're gonna do today. There is a feature in the settings that we'll go over that will allow students to actually make corrections and get a redo on specific questions.
But they can also retake it.
And they can also retake it for multiple attempts. So let's see, we got 2 questions. We'll just kind of make it.
Brad, add a math thing, like it's, just add 2 numbers or something.
Add 2 numbers. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go with, we'll just go with fill in the blank.
Yeah.
What is 2 plus 2? And answer is 4. We'll put that in.
Click the math button so you can see how to enter an equation.
That's what I wanted to show, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So we'll enter an equation. And so what it does is it gives you all the symbols. But again, you already have the numbers on your keyboard.
And scroll to the right over there. Let's see how like go to the bottom there. If you go, yeah. See, yeah, that's right.
So
You have all kinds of symbols here.
You can actually add in your thetas for angles. You can add in the delta for changes in y over the change in x for slope. You could also do sine laws and cosine laws for trig. You can also place in pi for your symbols, sigmas for Riemann sums and summations. If you go into the advanced, it gives you all the set notation too, because I know we do that in intro to advanced math. So you got your union and your intersections. You can do truth tables with this. You could also do the therefores with the 3 dots at the bottom. So again, there's a lot of variability within putting in the problems for the equation editor. And as you can see, it actually brings in the calc-based problems as well with your integrals, antiderivatives, your partial derivatives, implicit differentiation, and limits. So again, there's a lot of variability to this. It's actually really awesome.
You can get this same exact screen when you do a multiple choice. If you want, for example, 2 square root of 3 to be one of the multiple choices, you can add that in here. Like you can't do that in forms. And this is just a very, very nice feature. You can have fractions, for goodness sakes. It's really hard to make a fraction in forms. So.
No, it's not.
It's not? Okay.
But there are things like within your multiple choice, you can't put an image.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
sucks in forms.
Right. And you can put an image here for your multiple choice.
What's the thing, the second row down and the third and fourth over? Yeah, what are that? What's those?
So these are the ceiling functions and floor functions. So what it does is, let's say you get 3 points. So for final answer for the equation, let's say you get 3.14. All right. What that does is that the floor function will round it down to the next lowest integer. So it'll take it down to 3. For this one here, this is your ceiling function. What'll happen is, if let's say you get 3 point, I believe it's 3.65, it'll actually round it up to the next integer. I actually forgot. I haven't done ceiling and floor functions in a while, but I do recognize the symbols.
Cool. I've never heard of those before.
Me neither.
Let's see. So that's the equation editor. Let me just go ahead and type something in. So when you actually do type it in and you insert it, it will actually pop up as something that's blue. And I do believe you can move it around. Well, actually, I think you have to move the text. So I'm going to copy the text. I'm going to go in front, paste it. And apparently wanted to do it in there. Let me get rid of that real quick.
Yeah, by the way, as he's doing this is one of those things we learn as we go, and that happens, I would say, for all of us. So the more you play with this, the easier it becomes to use. And obviously, after 147 quizzes like Megan's done, I mean, you become very confident in your abilities. I love using this now, and I was not confident at first, but after a couple of quizzes that I made, it's really easy.
Thank you for doing this. I just spent a few hours last night creating a final exam for calculus with 50 multiple choice, and I think I scrolled through about 300 multiple choice problems on AP Classroom, and I made
Yeah.
images and
Yeah,
copied them a couple of times to make them long so they look nice when they pop up. And
yeah, but it might have been easier to use this one.
yeah, well, I
Yeah.
might go
And
back
then-
and do it just for the sake of
Yeah.
doing it.
So
But I
the
use it
other
for
thing is-
lessons.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
actually search for questions too. So like you got questions right here. You can actually search for millions of questions. Like if you wanted to do calculus questions, you wanted to do like search for questions from other ones from like leadership, or you got a whole bunch of these here. You can pick and choose which questions to add like individually. So you don't even have to create your own questions. In fact, a lot of teachers will actually just take an entire quiz that's already on here, and they'll end up putting, they'll end up just making a copy and then giving it to the students. So the only thing with that is you got to make sure, just like Kahoot, you pick and choose the correct assignments and quizzes, ones that are done properly. So that's the only
And
thing
you can,
gotta watch out for.
and you can edit them too. So if you like one and, you know, they have homework specific to their class at the last slide or something, you can edit it and change it to what you want.
So we'll just close that out. And so we got 3 questions right here. So once you got the questions that you actually want, what you can do is you can hit the publish button. And what it does is it'll actually.
Did you put an answer? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you put an answer for the last question you made?
Yep.
Okay, I missed it. Okay.
So with when you finish it up, it's going to ask you to maybe add a title image. You actually don't need to, not a requirement. You can also paste an image link if you want to. You can select the language, and of course they've got all the languages that you can pretty much think of. But again, we're just going to stick with English for now. So we've got that. And then you can select what grades that your quiz will actually fall under for a category. It could be 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade for us, university, professional development. I'm just going to go.
It turns out, by the way, that you have to select grades. I
Yeah.
tried to do it without selecting the grades, and it wouldn't let me continue.
So yeah, unfortunately, that one is one of those that is a requirement. And then
Yeah.
of course, at the end, which is also kind of like Kahoot, you could make it private, only visible to you, public, visible to everybody, of course, and then you have your advanced options. But most of the time, everybody just does the public one or private. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to hit public, will view to everyone. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go private for right now. So then you hit save, and then this is where after you've created it, you have your entire quiz listed here. You can share it, you can edit it as you see fit, and it lists all the questions on screen. And then of course, it gives suggestions at the bottom. So does anybody have any questions so far?
Hey, Brad, do we have the capability to print it off a copy?
Yes.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
How do you do that?
So,
One of my students asked me that.
so what you'll do is you'll go up to the button up here. Again, it's clear, just printer. You'll click it, and then it'll bring it up to the dashboard. And then it will give you all of the options as an actual like worksheet, which is awesome because then you can take your quizzes and you can then just do it for the classroom, especially if they don't have a computer. And it actually does it very nicely. You can do check boxes if you want, or you can get rid of them. You can actually shuffle the questions if you like.
Oh, perfect.
You can show the answer options, which you can honestly make it either all multiple choice, or you can make it all just short answer. And then, of course, just like in CUDA, you have an answer key, which you can add in or get rid of. And then, of course, which you'll see in the online final settings, the shuffling of the answers so that, again, they're not just saying, oh, first one, then second one, and so forth. And then you'll hit print and it just sends you right to your printer.
Oh, perfect.
You
perfect.
can also change the font and picture sizes. So if you have somebody with like a visual disability and you need to make it larger, it's very easy to do that.
You
Okay,
can make
good.
it extra large or keep the image out. That's the question one. We got a large image size. And then again, if you want to make things super big, there you go. So you can clearly see where everything is. And we'll just put the answer options back in. So
Okay.
piece of cake.
Great. Okay, good. So it's right up in the corner. Thank you.
No problem. So let's get to the options that Dan and I were kind of talking about before. So we're not going to do a live quiz today, but what we are going to do is we're going to just assign the homework. So we're going to click assign the homework. And what this will do is it'll take you guys to the final settings for customizing your homework assignment. The deadline, which you have right here, you can choose your date. But there is a limit on the date. You can only go a little bit less than 2 weeks ahead. Okay, so unless you get the upgraded version, that's the lightning bolt here, you can only go up to 14 days into the future. So Wednesday to 2 weeks into the future. So the 26th would be the end deadline for it. Just for purposes of for today, I'm going to go ahead and hit today. Oh, and then again, if you set the same day, you cannot set a time before the current time. Notice how right now is actually 9:46 and this is 9:45. Now you have to make sure you change the time. We'll make it let's make it 10:15. So this will be due at today, Wednesday, May 12th at 10:15 a.m. So about 28 minutes from now.
So
Now, what
can I add something in here in that the whole thing about we click on the Wednesday, May 12th there and yeah. So it shows that I can only get to the 26th, but I'm one of those people that I want to, you know, if necessary, I'm going to let them have until almost the end of the quarter. So when this runs out, this will, in fact, I will get a notification. Like you can see Brad has 9+ notifications up in the corner there. It's telling him that, that all of these certain quizzes have expired. Well, as soon as a quiz expires, I will just start it over again. Now I'll have a new screen, or it'll be new, but I will just replace this link. I will replace the old link with the new link in the grade book. All right. So what I do is, well, I'm going to talk about when he gets to the end here. I create a link, and I put it right in the grade book so the students can click on it. Well, when it expires, they won't be able to click on that particular link. So I have to change the link to a new one, which is a bit of a hassle, but it's worth it considering I don't have to pay for the upgrade. Okay.
So in that instance, it's actually very similar to if you were to create a copy of a form and
Exactly.
pretty much take a whole new link and put it in.
Right.
So that's actually one of the nice things.
You see where it says my organization, that's new. They're now giving district licenses, which would upgrade everybody under them.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think our department head at Lackey ended up saying something like that. But I do remember that now. And if there's time, we'll go over the my organization part then. because that might be really interesting to kind of take a look at.
Okay.
So
As
before
a
we hit the
county or
assign
school.
button, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to the advanced settings. So again, if you create your own classes, you can actually assign it to your classes if you input all the student names. But in the advanced settings, you have the option of doing something called adaptive learning. It's very similar to the branching portion in Microsoft Forms. It would take a little bit longer to actually put things together, but depending on how they answer the question, it can actually end up going to another set of questions. But that's not something we're going to go over today. And of course, with the super plan, you could always turn that on or off. Going to the general settings, just like in forms, you could say they only get one attempt or multiple attempts. So you can actually do unlimited, or they give you an option of up to 5. Pretty much, I think, because if you're up to 5, like after that point, you might as well just give them the unlimited option, because then they'll just keep trying it until they get it right. But if it's all multiple choice, you got to think, if they got the question wrong on the first multiple choice option, then the second one, then the third one, there's really only one option left that they should be able to choose, unless they forgot which option they chose in the previous questions. So I think that's why they end up putting in unlimited after 5. Now, here's the part that Dan was talking about in terms of the answers. So in terms of the questions, it says show answers during the activity. So you have the quizzes up on screen. They are going through picking their answers. So this option right here for showing answers allows the participants to either see the correct answers after each question or not see them, which is something that Forms doesn't actually have. You get the option, but again, this actually allows them to only see the question and then go over what they did. So in terms of during the activity, you get the option of them seeing the answer, not seeing an answer, and validate only tells them whether they got it correct or not. So if they got it correct, yay, they got it. If they didn't get it correct, they won't see what the actual answer is. So when they go back to it or when they see it, it doesn't just give them the answer right away like it would in Forms. So we'll just keep that on validate for right now. Now, for after the activity, it does give them a listing of the questions for a report that they can look at while they're on that screen. And again, you get the option of them reviewing the questions and seeing whether they want to see the answers, no answers and no questions, or the questions only. So that way, it's actually a lot easier for them to print out the report, and then they can go over the questions and see, okay, let's go through the actual work on how we got that answer. And that's something that Dan and I were really, really happy about going over. And I've used it a few times with a lot of my quizzes last year and this year. Again, it also allows them to do much more in-depth quiz and test corrections. And I think that's the huge kicker between this and Forms.
This is my whole reason right here, exactly, for using this over Forms. This is the #1 thing. Now, there's, of course, a lot more that I'm able to do, which I love. But this right here, it allows them to redo a quiz without having to be given the answers. So that's what this is. Makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. And so in terms of the other settings, these are really the general settings are what are really, really important. The other ones, they're kind of like added settings. So for instance, if you want to make it a little bit more competitive, a little bit more fun, you can put it into power-ups, but then all of a sudden, if students are getting power-ups, Some might get discouraged by that, so we just usually kind of keep that off for now. And again, this is actually where Dan was mentioning it before, and Megan was mentioning it also. The timer. So participants see a countdown and get extra points for each question. So here you actually get the option of doing the default timer, which is what is already set for each question. Or you can do a test timer, which is the upgraded plan. Or you can just have the timer completely off and they get as much time for each question as they need. Especially with solving equations, that's when I would probably turn mine off.
By the way, I'm sorry, Brett. So just so we're clear, whenever you see that lightning bolt, that means that it is that you have to have the upgraded version in order to use that feature. So just to make sure you're clear about that.
Yeah.
And at the end, I can show you what some of those features look like.
That would be
Okay.
fabulous.
Yeah, definitely. I'll probably end up signing up with my actual teacher email so that we can get into that point. All right, so you can also do show a leaderboard. So that's another part of the competitive nature of it. Students can see their scores, retake it again, see if they can get a higher score. I think there is a point where it does max out, but it's a rarity that students actually kind of get to that with certain quizzes. There's also the shuffle questions option. I will sometimes turn that on if students have gone through it about 5 or 6 times and are starting to get 100% multiple times, just for the fun of it. So I might change it up. And then
I'm sorry, I want to interject.
Go ahead.
The show leaderboard thing. I just want to mention that I always leave this off because honestly, I do get it, and I do get the competitive nature thing, but when it comes to math, I don't want the kids really to compete against each other. I just want them to do their best, and I don't want them to feel bad when they never make the leaderboard. And so I always leave that one off. But I do see the advantages. If you want to make it a game style format, it's good. So
You're doing something
like,
fun.
yeah, if you want to do something fun like Kahoot, yes, go ahead and do show leaderboard. But to this point, I have only done assignments with this Quizizz. Okay.
So you can, again, these are all really good options. And then there is a couple of other options. There are play music and show memes. But the one that's really, really helpful is the redemption questions. So let's say you go through the quiz, you get like 2 or 3 questions wrong. After you've actually gone through all of the questions, at the end, it will bring up the redemption round, and you'll be able to re-answer all of those questions you got incorrect. And that way, when it actually gives you your final score, it will take your redemption answer if you got it correct, and you can still get 100%. So that's something that, again, Forms doesn't have, and it's just a very, very nice feature to see if students can fix their mistake right then and there. I usually leave play music off. Again, some of them already have their headphones in while working on these, so I just kind of leave that off. But they do have some funny meme pictures after each question. And again, once you get to the bottom, you can actually choose a section of memes that you may like or is kind of funny or something like that. Like, for instance, the tons of animals. You can actually see what it shows, and you can see it says you're quitting investigating, barely correct. You can do ferret out the answer, be all that you can be. So it's a lot of those like funny, corny memes that you've got. And then of course you can do a whole bunch of the random memes when if you so choose. But again, sometimes those funny memes are kind of what helps put a smile on a kid's face during quizzes. And then in the end, once you have all your settings done, let me go ahead and get rid of the leaderboard. You can then go ahead and hit assign. And after you hit assign, it'll bring you up to this active assignment page, which gives a link and the code. And you can share this via just a regular link, Google Classroom, Canvas. I haven't used Canvas yet, but I kind of know it's a little bit about. You can share it versus Twitter and via Teams.
This
and
is where
again,
I will click on share link, and then you'll see it says game link copied to clipboard, and I will just go ahead right into the grade book, and I will put it right in. I will embed it into the grade book, and it works perfectly that way for me.
And of course, you can also just send it to your class through the Zoom chat if you need to. And they could also write it down if they so choose. So what we're going to have you guys do is for right now, we're going to give you guys about, I don't know, a little bit less than 5 minutes.
I think 1 minute will cover it.
1 minute will cover it. All
Yeah.
right. So we'll give you guys about a minute. You guys can go click on the link, and the code is right here on screen. Go ahead and join. You can either use your phone or you could use your computer. It doesn't matter. I'm actually going to show you something really cool in the reports later on regarding the devices. But go ahead and complete those. And in about a minute, we'll take a look at the report. The other cool thing about this is that it will, once you guys have actually joined, it will actually show it in real time as you keep refreshing the page. So you can see where everybody is at in terms of the questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit refresh.
Is anybody in that? Mine keeps buffering.
Well, so we did have some people in, and as you guys can see, everybody has joined in. And again, we got some people that have answered the questions. Some are still working on the questions. So you can actually watch what your students are doing in real time. And of course, if you see a student is logged in but not doing anything, you can then send them a message and say, hey, you might want to get started, dude. So you can see that in terms of the reports page here. There's also a more in-depth report that we'll get into in just a moment. But again, you can just keep refreshing and see how well they do. And we'll give it another 15 seconds. And you can actually monitor their accuracy as well. So we'll give it some time.
I must be doing something wrong because I can't join.
You're clicking from the chat?
Yeah, I clicked on the chat and it opened up a page and the Quizizz is just spinning and spinning and spinning.
It did that to me and I just closed that and I clicked on it again and it worked the second time.
Sometimes that happens with Kahoot also. I think that just might be when everybody's trying to log in. So not everybody will end up getting through at once. It's just a software
So try closing it and clicking on the link again. See if that
Yeah,
works.
I just did. Thank you.
Okay.
Give it another 20 or so seconds, and then we will go over the report. Got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. think we're just waiting on one person.
It's
As you
probably
can
me.
see,
You done, Gina?
Well, what do I do when I don't want the redemption?
Just,
Yeah.
you can't, you just gotta answer any question you want. So
Yeah.
honestly, if you get all three of them correct, there won't be any redemptions. But if, again, you answer the redemption, you get it wrong, you still get it wrong.
I think you have to choose a redemption question.
It made me
Mm.
choose one.
Yeah.
I don't, are you only allowed to choose one and not all? of them?
Yes, yeah, I realize that. You can't do all of the ones you got wrong. You can only do one.
But now that you know that you were wrong with your selected choices, you can go back and do it again.
Yes, as many
So-
times as you want.
Well, everybody's gonna get 100 again. It just
I
takes a little
hope
more
so.
effort.
I hope so.
Because we
But
did
it doesn't, the point is that this format does not give you the answers. So you have to, I mean, I don't usually do multiple choice. I usually do, fill in the blank, meaning they have to get the correct answer. So if they don't get the correct answer, they have to try again until they get the correct answer. In fact, where it says your answer must be exactly this. Well, if the answer is 42 and they put 42.0, I often allow for that. Like I make two different possible answers. You can, but like I'll put 42 and 42.0 as possible answers. But I want them, I'd love for them to get hundreds if they do it again and again and again. Does that answer your?
Part of it is just so that they have more time on it, because if we give them the answers like in forms, they'll do one attempt, get it all wrong, and then they'll see every single answer and do it again after another attempt. Even if so, and here it may not completely solve that issue, but at least it makes them spend a lot more time looking at the questions and thinking of the answers and how they got to their answers. So again, it just takes them a little bit longer to get 100% with those redemption questions, unless they really start to think about how they're going through the questions, how they're solving the equations, classifying angles, again, whatever categories or questions they're going at. So if they're spending more time on the problems, and that's where it kind of just, it softens the blow. It's kind of like a lot of stuff with education. We can't like get 100% on everything. We can't solve every issue, but it at least gives it a happy, a good medium or median in terms of where we can maybe have the kids spend more time on it. Because again, we all know this, kids rush through questions after they may get them wrong. And they're like, I want to get this done. I want to get this done. Well, then all of a sudden the information doesn't stick as long as it needs to. So it looks like we've got 8 participant attempts here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the assignment. But as you can see, while the assignment is going on, you can constantly check all.
And you can click on, you can click, if you click on me and like the times 2 where there that I got 2 wrong,
Fine.
if it'll tell you which 2 I got wrong, and you can see what I did.
Exactly, yeah. And so here's where it's really, really cool. And you can see what students were doing, where they did it. If you look up at the top, it tells you the dates and the time of when they completed it. And if you notice, there's also a Windows piece here and a Chrome piece. So that actually tells you the operating system they're working through, as well as what browser they're using.
And it'll tell you if they're using their phone.
Yeah, it will tell you if they're using their phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to end the report real quick. And I'm going to show you a couple of other screenshots that I had. So I'm going to end the report.
I have a question first. From that report, could you pick an individual like you did and hit print and get the whole quiz?
I believe so, yes. So let's go here. So you could hit print here. and it'll bring it to the dashboard, and it will actually give a paper report of what it's going to look like. So then you can actually see like what they did. That actually would help for giving SPED reports and so forth. That actually makes things a lot easier. The only downside is it doesn't really show like the specific work, but at least gives some sort of work sample. So that'll actually help with SPED. And again, I don't know if I can zoom in on this, but again, it all prints out, tells them total questions, when they did it. So then
Does
they
it show
can
you
see,
the wrong answers before they went back and corrected them?
Yes, I think it does, at least on my reports. But
okay.
I have
Because I got
super,
one of
so
those wrong, but it's just telling you, it's just showing you the correct answer.
There might be a
Will
setting
you,
that.
Brad, will you click on mine again?
Yeah, sure.
From a SPED teacher's perspective, this is fantastic. Because if you're an English teacher and you have kids on your caseload, you only want the percentage, and really how many times would be great, but
Mhm.
See, it tells the response that I gave. And only the third response was correct with the check mark.
Well, I had gotten the second question wrong, but then I did it as the redemption, but it doesn't show that I took the question twice.
Oh,
And I was just kind of interested in like, well, what was their pre-redemption versus, and do you have to have the redemption give them full credit, or can it just be like half credit?
So
that's a
actually,
good question.
I think I might know a workaround with that. So you said you had a redemption question.
Yeah, the second one.
All right, so let's just kind of go into here. So we had each of these. The second one, it looks like it's only showing your correct response. It doesn't look like it's showing anything in regards to redemption or anything like that.
That's weird because it always shows me like how many attempts that a student made.
Mm-hmm. So it may not, because it was within the same quiz, it may not count it as a second attempt.
Oh, okay. That's probably
So
why.
that may only be the downfall. And for grading purposes, you could end up doing half credit for the redemption, or you could do half credit for a second attempt with that same question or something along those lines. I would probably just give them the same kind of credit because they're taking a second attempt within the same attempt of the quiz, I guess, overall. But again, that's up for you guys on what you guys want to decide. But again, that could be varied either way.
Brad, could you click on your reports?
Yeah, sure. So here are all the reports that I have, and I actually do have one that's running right now.
Right, and it'll tell you which programs or which quizzes are running currently. And it's nice, and you can go through, obviously, if it's running, if you have like five, I have a bunch of them that are running currently. So I can click on them and see if there are any new people that have completed it. Although I asked my students, look, as soon as you complete an assignment, if you don't do it during class, you have to email me and tell me when you've completed something so I can check and give you your credit for it. I also want to recommend, well, I don't want to recommend, but I have, say, 3 Algebra 2 classes, but I only do one, I only set up one Quizizz for all 3 classes. So I have to scroll through and go back and forth in order to check all of the scores. It's probably a better idea if I were to make 3 separate quizzes for 3 separate classes, then I wouldn't have to go back and forth on my grade book, if you know what I'm talking about.
I do
Yeah,
5 codes. So I have
5
like
codes for 5
a-
different classes.
4 classes and 1 asynchronous makeup code.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
And I
a
label
smart
them.
way to do it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I can show you what a lesson report looks like too, if you guys want to see that. Because a
Actually, yeah,
lesson
so-
report is different.
So what I'll do is I'll show some of the other student attempts, and then Megan, you can go ahead and you can show what a lesson one looks like.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you.
So again, these are all the reports, and as we said before with the operating systems, they end up showing exactly where the students did. So I'm actually going to exit out of this for a minute, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of screenshots. So this was a little over 2 years ago, and as you can see, they are on the iOS software, which is an Apple iPhone. And it said they were using mobile Safari at that time. So again, it tells you how many attempts, who is working on it, and it tells you exactly what device they're using. Another person, you could see that this person, Bryn, was using an Android phone while using the Chrome mobile app. So again, it's very, very specific. And I think that's really cool because then it tells you what the options are that you can use it with. I think the next one's a really cool one that I didn't realize. So Mike used an Android phone, but he was using Samsung Internet. I think that's just a Samsung Internet browser. But again, it's very specific. It tells you exactly when they did it. And I don't want to say where because, I mean, that's like a location thing, but it at least tells you what they're using and what their options are. So again, it's very cool to see exactly what they're able to use and how they're able to use it. So does anybody have any questions?
Go for it, Megan.
All right, so let's see.
Make it so I can share.
Oh, I thought I did. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did. Sorry. All
Oh, okay.
right. So this is a report of a lesson. So we did this as a lesson, and this is what the report looks like. So, you know, you get your normal report here under participants, but you can go and look at it by question. So you can see how, you know, was your question good? What was the accuracy per question? But you can also go to overview and get this nice table. And, you know, where this one is obviously one that they struggled with, and then you can go back and go into it. You can also, see exactly what their answers were and how they typed it in. You can see right there where it says the student answered and then the information. So this is really helpful when you're going back over how did a lesson go? What was the struggle points? What do I need to reteach? So it's more than, if you're using it as a lesson too, it's more than just a quiz score. Some other things, you can keep track of your lessons by creating these folders here. You're using them as lessons. So I have one for each unit here.
Where do you create a folder? Oh, where do you create a folder?
Create, yeah,
Under
create collection.
Oh, okay, there we go.
I
Okay.
forgot about that. I do have a collection in mind, but yeah, I forgot. So if you guys want to organize it per like subject or class, collections is very, very helpful.
That's very good to know. I did not know that.
And so
Thank you.
I find that helpful. And just so you can see my reports, these ones aren't labeled yet because I haven't graded all of them, but you see I have 4B, 2B, 1B. So I label it by section. And if you want to go back and say I didn't label these ones, this would have been my 2A. You can just adjust it right here. So if you don't do it right away, you can always redo it after. And I know which one's which because I know the order in which I gave them, if that makes
Oh, wow.
sense.
Okay, yes.
So, but I go do label it for,
By the way,
helpful
if you
reasons.
don't mind staying there for a second, Megan, you see where it says reopen? Of course, that is an upgrade to the, but.
yeah, so I'm the
if-
super, so I
right,
have the
but
ability
if
to.
you
do that.
don't have that, you know, all you have to do is just go back and go back to your library and assign a homework, and you just start a new one. And that has worked well for me without having the upgrade. That's all I got there.
Yeah,
It turns
Hey.
into a whole new assignment as opposed to just
Yes.
changing the date on the old assignment.
Yes,
so yeah,
correct,
unless you have the upgrade, if you have the upgrade, you can just hit reopen and it just it
right.
adds the
Do you
date.
remember how much the upgrade was?
I got it for free because I created so much content.
Cool.
I don't have an answer for that. Brad, do you have the upgrade?
I don't have the upgrade. I didn't look it up, but I was gonna ask Megan how we would be able to get the upgraded version.
Yeah, I think it's only like $25 a year. Honestly, it's not that
Okay.
much. But I was going to pay for it and then I got an email from them because I created so many and they gave me a year free.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
And do you make yours public?
I do make a lot of them public, but not everything.
So what happens when you make things public and a student goes in and creates an account and then can just search questions or?
Yeah, I often don't make them public until after I've assigned it.
Yeah.
So
That's
like
the same.
after we're done with it, then I'll make it public so other people can use it. But I would
Yeah.
stop making them public if we got a district license, I would just make it public within our school.
And how hard is it the next year to go back and use the same?
So if you have them by collection, it's not.
Okay,
You can easily just go back and see. Last year I had just a big folder. This year I started separating it by, and so here's all my factoring lessons. Here's all my algebra lessons, and I can just go through and reassign them for polynomials. And I've even wrote it out by day, as you see.
Is there any way for?
And you can also
North Point-
share a whole collection.
Is there any way for like teachers, like I would love to look at some of your lessons and see how you structure them. Is there a way that I can see that? I
Yeah.
have an account, but it's not, do we have a Quizizz account as a district yet?
No, but I can share a collection. So this is a polynomial and some of the lessons are just like quick answers. And then some of them I go into more detail, but this is a full lesson from objective to homework
Okay, yeah. I would
on
like
this
that.
unit. So this is the collection. So you can see this whole unit and that link gets you to the whole collection.
Can you import a PowerPoint slide into those lessons or live instructions?
Yeah, so let me go back to the home.
Let us look at one of your lessons. I know you
Okay.
sent the link.
Yeah,
I
we
can
can
look at
go-
it if
we
I want,
can-
right?
Well, you can see the back end of it. Hold on. So let's do a polynomial one. Let's look at day 4. I don't remember what I did on day 4. All right, so there's our objectives. But yeah, you can import PowerPoints. I'll show you how in 1 second. And then I have embedded videos for them so they can watch that if they're doing it asynchronously, or we can watch it if we have time in the live class. Sometimes I'll put 2 videos, play a short one in class, and then have the other one available for the asynchronous students. Then we go over that. There's another video. Then I see, let's do some on the whiteboard. So I use the Zoom or the regular whiteboard. We do these. Then they do their practice. They rate their understanding. We go to breakout rooms to do some challenge questions. We check our work. And then they have an opportunity to ask any questions, rate their confidence overall, and then we go over the homework. So that's like a whole lesson. And it's all built in there. It makes, when you have to share your lesson plan with your principal for observation, real easy. You give them the link, it's all there. And it makes assigning asynchronous work for students who aren't there easy too. Or if you suddenly get sick, they can do it.
If, when they're doing their practice problems, can you
Mhm.
see what they're doing and kind of help them?
Yes, so this is how you edit it, and you can see over here, you make your edits over here. It's really frustrating because you want to write on the actual this part, but you have to write it here, but you can import any PDF, any PowerPoint slide right here under media. So if you have really cool PowerPoint slides, you just put them in here and it uploads them. But yeah, let me do this one live just so you can see what it looks like. Let me get out of that. So I just need a couple people to join it so I can run a live lesson. Here's the link. And I'm going to skip to where the questions are so you can see how it shows me their input. All right. So if I'm running a live lesson, and this is what I do when I'm in class, we go through the different slides. I just got to zoom things out of the way. There we go. Our bullets come up. We show the videos, etc. Here's a question. And if you go to response view, as they submit, you can see what they've entered. And so I chose all my questions based on knowing the different mistakes they could make. So if, when they type in and submit their first response, and this isn't on accuracy, this is just participation, I can say, oh, you didn't quite get it. I think you missed the negative here, or could you double check? And you see how it comes up? And I can stop the timer if I want, but I can see their exact answers and give them feedback right as they do it.
That's great.
And you can see who isn't answered. You can, no, that is the one thing that they haven't added, but I suggested it to them.
Okay.
I've been suggesting all of my tips to Quizizz. I want them to make this the best platform.
What was your comment, Bradley? I couldn't quite hear it.
Oh, it was if they had asked them or if you could delete a student's answer and have them re-answer it.
But I have them just communicate with me in chat, the correct answer after they submitted. But we put a lot of focus in class on trying every question. If they get it wrong, to not get discouraged, because we learn from mistakes and we can go over why we made certain mistakes. And then the next time I see that they start not making the same mistakes, and then we start getting it right.
I also saw someone in my school was using this for one of their upper level math classes, and he did like this, like you did, and gave it as a warm up. It was a review of the last classes, whatever they did. And then the questions that the students got most wrong, he then used those to go over during the lesson. So I like this whole view of it.
That's why I liked the report at the end, because I can see, oh, well, this is the question that most people struggle with, so we're going to go back over this. Or this was the point where they started to have light bulbs and it started going well.
Can you click on participants view?
Yeah. Participants view is this, so you can see who is answering and who's not. So then I'm calling on, you know, hey, are you there? Do you need help?
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's a tech issue and they're like, it's frozen. I'm like, all right, hit refresh.
I was just about to bring up Nearpod. Christine mentioned it in the chat. Yeah, I was about to bring up Nearpod. The only thing they need to do is add the draw option, because honestly, the draw option for Nearpod is the only thing that deters me from using it. But it's really the only thing that we can literally see students drawing on graphs. So That's something that I wish they would add.
Why don't you like the drawing option?
That's
Because
like my favorite feature.
Me too.
I like it. The issue is that it moves too slow for when I'm trying to like see what students are drawing. And it just takes long for it to load on for me. I'm not sure why, but it just doesn't have the fast computing power that I would hope it would have.
Is this when you're in student paced or when you're in live? Because mine's works really well.
I think it's when I'm in live.
Okay.
It just, again, I don't mind Nearpod. I think it's really great. It's just, again, I think I just need more time with it to kind of get used to it. I think that's really it.
I was just gonna say, it does move kind of slow, but at least I can give them immediate feedback as to exactly
Yep.
what they're doing wrong. So I'm like, even if we only get through like 3 problems instead of 6, they get solid feedback on all 3 of those.
And especially it's difficult trying to find a good online drawing tool to get feedback on, because again, some students don't have touchscreen computers. They got to use their mouse and just Desmos works, but again, there's only certain limitations to other drawing tools.
A lot of mine have gotten really good at typing on the
Mhm.
draw it slides. They're like, they've got frustrated with trying to actually draw, and so they've just resorted to typing. I'm like, yay, you're learning something.
I want to mention that one quick thing. We didn't really talk much about it, but there's a shuffle answers option, which is nice because if you want, you can, if you have like multiple choices and you want to shuffle the answers, that means that instead of the same exact order for the answers for each single problem, it will make a different order for every single student, which really is hard to cheat that way.
Is that a lot in building?
Yeah. Now, I, of course, made the mistake of doing that. And I had the answer options listed as A, B, C, and D. And then it came up C, A, D, C, A, D, B. And I didn't like that. But that was my own fault because I didn't have the answer options listed well. But anyway, that is a very nice feature. The shuffle answers option for multiple choice is very good.
Oh, and the annotating the Quizizz slides is a feature that's coming apparently.
What does that mean? I'm sorry.
Being able to draw on the slides as you're presenting.
Very
okay.
So that's a new feature that Nearpod added, and when they added it, I emailed Quizizz and they said it's coming soon.
Oh, very good. Excellent. All right. So what I think Brad and I thought would be like a 20-minute session has turned into quite something here. I certainly hope it's been helpful for you. And those of you watching this recording, I hope it's been helpful for you as well. Yeah, please feel free to email me if you would like to ask any other types of questions, dweiss@ccboe.com. Certainly Brad and Megan are very, even more adept at this than I am, but honest to God, once you play around, the more you play around with it and practice with it, the easier it gets. And you learn more things just by doing. So there might be some things today that you saw that you don't remember how to do. Don't worry about it. Just if you just do it, trust me when I tell you it, you learn how to do it just by doing it. It's really easy to work with, and I love using this platform. So I think I will say thank you for coming, and again, I hope you learned something from it, and have a great day.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. Take care.
Yes.
Good to see you, Dan.
Good to see you too, Tina. Take care. Brad, Megan, thank you. You guys were outstanding. It was great.
No problem.
I really enjoyed this. And I learned so much more even, so I'm so happy about that. So thank you very much.
The lesson
wouldn't
feature
either.
was a
Good to
cool
bring it up.
addition.
What, the lesson feature what?
When they added the lessons this year, it was a great addition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say, Brad?
Oh, I was gonna say, I probably wouldn't have done it if you wouldn't have brought the idea of doing a PD session. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. I really appreciate it. This is a good like first PD session to ever do. So
Yeah, and I look forward to doing this, Fair Day. And, who knows, maybe we'll get Megan to join us too, because,
I'll do whatever you want. It's fine.
okay,
I
could you
teach you
do
all the
all of my
PDs.
assignments for me, please? All right, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna end the meeting here, all right?
all right.
Thanks a lot, you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah.